All right, there is a real talk right now going on, and it is picking up steam. And maybe it's because we're in that pre-draft lull, and really the NFL season starts in April at the NFL draft. And for the Detroit Lions, we've always said it's like our Super Bowl. It doesn't feel like that anymore, though, does it? Now that we have established ourselves as a winning team, we just want to actually go to the Super Bowl. But with that being said, there is a trade rumor going on, one player in particular that they're talking about getting rid of, and that is Jameson Williams. Like, this thing is picking up steam. And in this video, I want to talk about a couple reasons why I think it's picking up steam. I have an article that actually has a proposed trade, and then we're going to go in and we're going to see what it looks like. So before you turn this off, before you go ahead and say, I don't want to trade Jameson Williams, or I do want to trade Jameson Williams, listen to what I have to say and then make a decision from there. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you a question on two different occasions. First, I'm going to ask you, do you want to trade Jameson Williams? Yes or no? Put it in the comments right now. Yes? No? That's all I need. Yes or no? One-word answers. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to ask the exact same question based on the trade that we got, based on what we got out of it. Then I want to see if you still want to trade Jameson Williams or not. All right, so let's go ahead and let's kind of jump into this. Detroit Jock City actually came out with an article, and it has a proposed trade. Now, I don't know what trade calculator they were putting this in. I don't know what it all looked like, but they basically said we're sending our number 1 pick, number 28, our first-round pick, and Jameson Williams over to the Dallas Cowboys, who do desperately need a number 2 receiver for pick number 12 and pick number 76. Now, I couldn't get that to work really anywhere, if I'm being completely honest. What I had to do was always throw more stuff in, and that jump from 28 to 12 is massive. That's a massive jump. So, yeah, I didn't get a lot of that back, but what I could get was something that looks like this, and this is on a PFF mock draft, where I could give 28 and 60 and JMO up for 12 and 76 for Dallas. So you move up 16 places in the first round, and then you move back 16 places. So you basically give up a first and a second, a late first and a late second for a earlier first and an earlier third. That's about the only thing that I could get done that had a 30% chance of being accepted, and it did, but just for the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and force that bad boy. All right, and here's the reason I want to look into this. I want to look into this because I want to see what the difference is for us if we get to pick at pick 12 versus pick 28. Because I think the difference between 60 and 76 is more negligible. The difference between 12 and 28 is massive. So in this current one, Shamar Stewart was still off the board. And if you're a Shamar Stewart lover, I'm sorry, it may still not be worth it. However, if you are sitting here talking about drafting best player available and also a draft for need, this position fits better to what we have to do. Some of those edges that we have been looking at are still on the board. Now, this is interesting. Ted McMillan's still there. That solves our X receiver. All right. But we don't have JMO anymore. So at some point, we do have to get another receiver. Kind of interesting how that works, isn't it? But the reason you trade up is to get somebody like this. You would trade up because your hope is to get a guy like Mike Green out of Marshall. And your hope is that you get another twitchy, sudden, like change of pace type defensive end. That's what you're looking for because you want that big-time playmaker, that big-time difference maker that will be running opposite of Aiden Hutchinson for a really long time. So that is the pick that we're going to do here because that's why we're doing it, because we want an edge rusher, right? So let's draft Mike Green, all right, with the 12th pick, and then we come down here and let's see what we have available to us. Let's see what we have available. In the second round now, we're sitting here, and yes, the edges are gone. You can go offensive line. You can go Tate Rutledge. You could go Trey Harris to replace what you are missing with Jameson Williams. Maybe you like Jalen Royals instead. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the wide receiver options. You have Trey Harris. You have Jalen Noel. You have Jalen Royals. You have all these different guys that you can look at. Personally, I'm a big Jalen Noel fan. All right. Like when I look at him, I get kind of excited. That's where I am. All right. So that's Jalen Noel is a good player. You have Jalen Royals. But I want to go ahead and we can look at something that will give us an even better idea of what's left. All right, if we stayed at 28, there's a really good chance we could have gotten Matthew Golden. There's a really good chance we could have gotten Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka. One of those guys would be around. Now, or Jaden Higgins. Now, let's look at these. All right, Jalen Noel, they're talking about reminiscent of Christian Kirk. Jalen Royals is a 3-level threat who can be team's wide receiver 2 early. That's the kind of guy that I'm looking at that I would want to see on our team. He's a 2-year starter, all right, as an outside wide receiver. Now, here's the funny thing. Exclusively to the left of the quarterback. This is very interesting. What does that look like? Can he get back and do these different things? He's a guy at the combine who ran a 4.42. He has that speed. He is a 3-level threat. If he is still available, he can absolutely be a Jameson Williams replacement. What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Jalen Royals here, and you can look at him here if you want to see what he did via PFF. All right, there was an injury, but receiving grade 80. He's been a decent receiver all through his time at Utah State. He was JUCO, but he has the difference. All right, he can do it. He's a good possession receiver who also has good speed. He is flexible. He can be your guy who can take it and over the top, but he also is a guy who can be a decent route runner and play that X receiver. He can do everything. He is versatile. So let's draft him in that spot, and then we still have our pick left with 102. And I'm going to go ahead and a guy I actually really like, Tate Rutledge. I can't believe he's still sitting here at the 102. Pardon me, Ken, because interior offensive linemen are underrated, but he is a plug-and-play guard from day one, and that is Tate Rutledge. He has been a 3-year starter at the University of Georgia. He's just a mauler. Like, he is that guy. He's 6'6", 320. No, he's not just the dynamic athlete, but he is good pass blocker, and he is it says it right here, downhill power in the running game. Give him a chance to be a starter in the NFL. That sounds like a guy who could absolutely play guard with us and challenge Graham Glasgow year 1 to be a starter. There you go. 3-round draft. Let's see what grade I get based on this. And this is the first time that I have done a PFF mock draft, and it's saying no suggestions. It's saying, good job. This is exactly where you want to be. Mike Green, that's an A. Jalen Royals, that's an A. Tate Rutledge, that is an A+. It just so happened to fit exactly what we needed. The only reason I would consider trading Jameson Williams, you have that 5th-year option looming. Are we going to pick it up? Aren't we? And then it allows you to replace him at wide receiver in the draft, because while the top-end wide receivers aren't what they were last year, there's still depth in this draft. It allows us to go out and get a difference maker on the edge, a Shamar Stewart or a Mike Green, that very, very, very unlikely would be available at 28. You have to understand something with pick 28. It is very unlikely that you are going to get a premier edge rusher at the back end of the first round. It does not happen often. Premier edge rushers go in the top 10. That's what they do. And then in that 10 to 15 range, you have your, hey, they have the opportunity or potential to possibly be a premier edge rusher. And then as you get late into the first round, different positions usually go. Like, that is not a heavy edge spot. And then you have the more projects guys that go in the second and the third round. Edge is a premium position on the defense. You need to have a premium pick in order to get that. So if the Dallas Cowboys don't like what's available to them, because one of the areas that they have a greatest need for is a second wide receiver, if they don't like what's available to them at 12, they just may entertain a trade with us. I like the original trade, but here's my question. When you're seeing this mock draft, and you're seeing what the Lions could do, also understanding that Jameson Williams would be gone, which means you don't have to deal with his contract in a year, right? I'm asking you now, if this is what you knew was the return, you get Mike Green, you get Jalen Royals, and then Tate Rutledge in the draft, and you lose Jameson Williams, would you be up for it? Would you be up for it? Or would you say, no, I'd rather keep 28, take best available at 28, and then maybe Jalen Royals at 60, and then maybe see if Tate Rutledge is still available at 1 or 2. What would you rather do? Let me know. So first it was yes or no on Jameson Williams. Now seeing this, is it yes or no on Jameson Williams? All right, couple things for if you're still watching. We are going to be live for the NFL Draft. We would love to have you join us. We will be there during the whole first round. And then make sure you're watching, because we're going to have a ton of videos. We're going to be pumping out content on day 2 of the draft, day 3 and beyond. We're going to continue talking about these prospects. We're going to be talking about the undrafted free agents. We're going to be talking about everyone. But we will be live right here on Sports Talk Detroit. So make sure you're streaming in. Check in. Hang with us. It is our favorite night of the year. It should be a holiday. We're coming off Easter, all right? The draft, late Easter. He is risen, all right? Happy Easter to everyone watching this video. But the draft is coming up shortly after that. It's like another holiday. NFL Draft. Let's go. And the beautiful thing about it is it lasts 3 days. Watch it with us. Let me know what you think. Jameson Williams. See ya.